Welcome in for another edition of the Morning Espresso on the SDH Network, brought to you by Oglethorpe University, Atlanta's premier undergraduate learning experience and soccer powerhouse. Concacaf Champions Cup last night, games all over the place. Some very interesting stories coming out of that. The UEFA Champions League as well. Quite a few storylines emerging there. All kinds of stuff to get into today on the Espresso. Let's start with Lionel Messi. He scored the only goal of the match. Miami won 1-0 at Sporting Kansas City in their CONCACAF Champions Cup opener. Temperatures were 3 degrees at the kickoff. Wind chill making it feel like 7 degrees below. Javier Mascherano, his first win in charge of Inter Miami. He said he's very proud. He said it's impossible to play in these conditions. It is not human. He was very happy with the work rate, the intensity. Great goal from Messi and a 1-0 win for Miami in that one. Other CONCACAF games, much warmer climates. Antigua of Guatemala lost to Seattle Sounders 3-1. Paul Arriola scored in his Seattle debut. Pedro de la Vega, Albert Rusnak got the other goals for Seattle. Cincinnati 4-1 winners in Honduras over Motagua. Kevin Denkey and Evander both scored in their Cincinnati debuts. Pavel Buka had 2 goals for FCC. Herediano got a scoreless draw with RSL in Costa Rica. Colorado on Tuesday night, they won 2-1 over LAFC. It was also very, very cold there in the 3-4 degree range. But that late goal that the Rapids conceded to LAFC, it gives them a huge boost going into the second leg at BMO Stadium. News coming out this morning from Axios, DC United, they want to expand Audi Field with up to 10,000 more seats and add a new roof. I guess they're going to go straight up with seats. I don't think there's a whole lot of room around the stadium there at Buzzard Point in the district. Stadium opened in 2018. Last year, it averaged 18,000 plus soccer fans. That's 90.7% capacity. It's 20,000 seats right now. A roof could allow them to host more events there. They already have a lot of events there. The actual playing surface is a bit of a concern as well. Um, the stadium's mostly empty during the winter, so they could do climate controlled concerts. They could prevent rainouts and weather issues that they've had at times at Audi Field. The sources say that the concept for these upgrades do include a partially retractable roof. They've been talking with the district about the expansion idea for about a year now, according to Axios sources. Not sure of the price tag, not sure if the team will ask the city for subsidies. All right, let's move over to the UEFA Champions League. Really bad season in the Champions League for Serie A. Milan, they were embarrassing in their elimination to Feyenoord on Tuesday. Feyenoord has an interim manager. Feyenoord sold their best player, Santiago Jimenez, to Milan. Jimenez scored less than a minute into the game in the second leg, and they still couldn't get it done. And now coming out today, and this is kind of the standard operating procedure. I was actually talking with someone yesterday. I was like, the media is going to be really wild in Italy today. Well, La Repubblica is reporting that Christian Pulisic is no longer on good terms with manager Sergio Conceição, and Pulisic has asked to leave the club in the summer if Conceição stays in charge. La Repubblica reports that Pulisic is unhappy. They had a face-to-face argument after the loss to Dinamo Zagreb in January. Also on the Feyenoord side of things, Robin van Persie looks set to be appointed as the new manager. He developed at the club and retired there in 2019. Atalanta to continue Serie A's misery in the Champions League. They were thrashed by Club Brugge and Bergamo on Tuesday, and Juventus lost yesterday in the Netherlands. They were eliminated by PSV after extra time. Not a good season in the Champions League. There's going to be a lot of conversation the rest of this year going into next year in Italy about improving these performances. Alex Zendejas for Club America, the U.S. men's national team striker. He scored in the 1-1 draw with León. James Rodriguez had the goal for León. Zendejas, he has extended his Liga MX goal production streak to 6 games. 5 goals, 4 assists in these 6 games, 4 wins, 1 loss, 1 draw. Club America looking for their 4th straight Liga MX title. The U.S. under-16 boys national team is training in West Palm Beach, Florida. The manager, Alex Aldaz, has brought in 24 players. This is the group that will form the base of the U17s next year that will try to qualify for the World Cup. The U17 World Cup is now an annual event. The U.S. qualified this year. Cooper Sanchez of Atlanta United 2 had a big hand in that. James Donaldson is a goalkeeper from Atlanta United's academy. He's been on the bench for Atlanta United 2. He's part of this current U16 group that will look to take over at the U17 level next year. Couple of updates from our coverage of Georgia high school soccer on the network here. I had Dalton's big win over McIntosh on Tuesday in Peachtree City. Watch out for senior Luis Favela. He scored twice in the championship game and to win a state title in 2023 as a sophomore towards ACL last year. He's back. He scored twice in the 3-0 win over McIntosh. Gainesville's boys last night, they beat North Gwinnett 2-1 on the network. John Nelson had the call for you there. And one that I was watching for on Tuesday night, North Forsyth, their boys beat Johnson of Gainesville 2-0. Johnson travels to Dalton. That's our Friday night game on the network, 7:30 kick from up in Dalton. You can listen on Mixler. You can always listen going to soccerdownhere.net and clicking that listen link. Another bit of news breaking this morning. Luis Rubiales, the former Spanish FA president, he was found guilty over kissing player Jenny Hermoso without consent after the Women's World Cup final. He's been ordered to pay a fine worth about 10,000 euro, 20 euro per day until that's paid. He was acquitted of coercion, and that was one that I thought could put him in prison. It didn't, and I didn't follow the court case super close. Looked like there was a pretty decent case against him in this because there were lots of reports of him and his people talking to Hermoso, talking to people close to Hermoso to try to get her to back down from these complaints, saying that she was okay with being kissed, which obviously she was not. In addition to the fine, he must stay 200 meters away from Jenny Hermoso at all times. Rubiales very lucky to avoid prison. Today in Marietta, Atlanta United, they train getting ready for the game against CF Montreal on the weekend. The media, including myself, including Madison Cruz, including Mike Conti, will be speaking to Ronnie Dyla, speaking to Brad Kazan after the session. We'll have coverage of all of that on the SDH Network. Make sure you're following us at Soccer Down Here on all your social media platforms. Make sure you are subscribed to us on YouTube. Make sure you are subscribed wherever you get your podcasts. Tons of content coming between now and kickoff on Saturday, 7:30 kick. Pre-game coverage will start at 6:30 on 92.9 The Game and the Odyssey app. But thank you for consuming another cup of Morning Espresso here on the SDH Network, presented by Oglethorpe University. Be back tomorrow to get you ready for the weekend on the SDH Network.